The show was called Dine with Kraken. On February 16th, the audience saw a star trainer, Rachel Langford, working with the park's prized orca.
Despite their fierce name, we've come to know killer whales as friendly, entertaining creatures who can be taught to perform and, it appears, even like the attention.
In a splash of water, everything went wrong. Rachel was pulled under, and the show's magical illusion shattered into a real-life nightmare. This wasn't just a random accident. It was the explosive finale to a long and troubled history that OceanRealm Park tried to keep hidden from the world. A history of ignored warnings, a stressed-out animal, and a trainer who may have been betrayed by the people she trusted most. A dream job in a concrete kingdom. Many people are crazy about marine parks. They see a world of wonder, where magnificent creatures perform incredible feats. OceanRealm was the king of that world, and Rachel Langford was its brightest star. From a young age, Rachel dreamed of working with orcas. You know the type. Posters on the wall, books about the ocean. A passion that burned brighter than anything else. She didn't just want a job, she saw it as a calling. Starting at the bottom, cleaning the park grounds, she worked her way up with a dedication that left everyone in awe. Within a few years, she was a senior trainer, the face of OceanRealm. Her special partner was Kraken, the park's biggest attraction. He was a colossal male orca, over 22 feet long and weighing more than 12,000 pounds, heavier than 3 cars stacked on top of each other. The crowd saw a gentle giant, a massive animal that would gracefully glide through the water and obey Rachel's every command. They had a bond, the park said, built on trust and affection. Rachel truly believed it. She saw past the immense size and the rows of 3-inch teeth. She saw a soul, an intelligent being that she could connect with. But not all things are what they seem. You see, the story OceanRealm told the public was a carefully crafted fantasy. The things nobody tells you are what happens behind the scenes. Kraken wasn't born in a cushy pool. He was captured in the wild waters off the coast of Norway as a youngster. Imagine being torn from your family and dropped into a concrete tank, a bathtub compared to the endless ocean. The stress on these animals is immense. An orca in the wild can swim up to 100 miles a day. In his enclosure at OceanRealm, Kraken would have had to swim the perimeter over 1,500 times to match that. It's a recipe for frustration and psychosis. And Kraken had a history, a dark one. Years before Rachel became a star, another trainer at a different park had an accident involving Kraken. The official story was that she fell into the tank and succumbed to the cold water. But insiders whispered a different tale, one where Kraken had held her under, preventing her from surfacing. This crucial piece of his past was buried deep in his file. OceanRealm knew about it. They knew their multi-million-dollar star had a violent streak. Yet, they put their trainers in the water with him every single day. For them, the show had to go on. Rachel, full of passion and trust, was walking into a situation far more dangerous than she could ever imagine. The stage was set for a tragedy. But the park's cover-up of Kraken's past was just the beginning of the deception. 30 minutes of terror. February 16th was a bright, sunny Sunday, a perfect day for a show. Families filled the stadium seats at OceanRealm, munching on popcorn, buzzing with excitement. The main event was Dine with Kraken, a special performance where guests could eat lunch while watching the park's biggest stars, Rachel and Kraken, interact up close. It was meant to be the most intimate and magical experience the park offered. Rachel was in her element, smiling, confident, and gracefully guiding the 12,000-pound orca through a series of familiar routines. The connection between them seemed electric. The show was winding down. For the finale, Rachel was lying on a shallow ledge in the pool, submerged in a few inches of water, giving Kraken gentle pats and rewarding him with fish. This was called a relationship session, designed to look tender and personal. The audience watched, captivated, as the massive predator nuzzled against his trainer like a giant, affectionate puppy. It was the perfect illusion, the exact image OceanRealm wanted to sell. Then, in an instant, the illusion shattered. Without any warning, without a single sign of aggression, Kraken opened his mouth, took Rachel's long ponytail in his teeth, and casually pulled her into the main pool. At first, the crowd was confused. A few people clapped, thinking this was a surprise trick, an unscheduled part of the show. But the other trainers standing by the pool knew immediately that this was not part of the script. Their faces went pale. You see, an orca's mouth is incredibly powerful, with a bite force estimated to be over 19,000 pounds per square inch. It's a biological machine designed for one purpose. Even a gentle grab was inescapable. Panic started to set in as the trainers blew their whistles, the emergency signal to release. But Kraken ignored them. He began to pull Rachel through the water, not with anger, but with a chilling sense of purpose. He wasn't thrashing her around wildly. He was just holding on, dragging her deeper. He would surface for a moment, with Rachel still in his grasp, before diving back down into the 40-degree water. The trainers slapped the surface of the water, a signal Kraken was trained to respond to. He ignored that too. They tried luring him with buckets of fish, his favorite reward. He wasn't interested. For what felt like an eternity, he kept Rachel from the surface, a toy in his own private game. The screams from the audience were now drowned out by the frantic shouts of park staff as their emergency protocols failed, one by one. And in the chaos, nobody realized the true horror was only just beginning. Too little, too late for 30 agonizing minutes, the nightmare continued in front of horrified families. Kraken refused to let go. The park's emergency plans, which looked so good on paper, proved to be completely useless against a 12,000-pound animal that had decided to stop cooperating. The trainers, who were Rachel's friends and colleagues, were helpless. Their primary tool for control, food, was useless. Their secondary tool, underwater tones and signals, was also failing. The situation was out of control. The only option left was the most extreme one: raising the false bottom of the pool to force Kraken into a smaller medical pool where he could be isolated. It was a slow, mechanical process. As the floor of the massive 7-million-gallon tank began to rise, Kraken finally released Rachel and was guided into the smaller adjoining pool. Paramedics, who had been waiting helplessly, rushed in. But it was far too late. The tragic outcome was clear. OceanRealm immediately went into damage control mode. Park executives swarmed the scene, and their first public statement was a masterclass in deflection. They claimed Rachel had slipped and fallen into the water. Then they changed the story, saying Kraken had grabbed her by the ponytail because it was long and flowing, something he wasn't used to seeing. They were, in essence, blaming Rachel. But the thing is, this was a lie. Rachel was a veteran trainer. Her ponytail was neatly tied, as it always was during performances. More importantly, the park was trying to paint this as a one-time freak accident caused by a simple mistake. They made no mention of Kraken's documented history of aggression. They didn't tell the press about the previous incident or the numerous other close calls and moments of dangerous, unpredictable behavior from their star whale. They were building a narrative to protect their billion-dollar brand, even as a tragedy was still unfolding. The official investigation that followed would peel back some of these layers. The autopsy report was grim, revealing the devastating power of the animal. It also confirmed that Rachel's passing was a result of both the physical trauma and from being held underwater. This incident blew the lid off the secrets of the marine park industry. For the first time, the public was forced to confront the dark reality of keeping these massive, intelligent, and wild animals in captivity. The pressure was immense, and OceanRealm was now facing a storm of controversy that threatened to sink the entire park for good. But are we even sure we know what really happened in that pool? An uncomfortable truth. All right, let's talk real for a second. The official story is that a wild animal, stressed from captivity, finally snapped. That's what the experts and the documentaries will tell you. It's clean, it's simple, and it lets everyone off the hook. But if you're like me, watching this, you're probably thinking, does it all really add up? Is it truly that simple? Let's just wonder for a minute, you and me. Because when you start peeling back the layers, the official story starts to look less like a fact and more like a convenience. Are we missing a key detail? You see, these parks sell you a storybook fantasy, a world of happy animals and their smiling human friends. But the reality is a business model built on a lie. We're talking about a predator at the very top of the food chain. An orca's brain is one of the most powerful in the animal kingdom, nearly 4 times heavier than a human's, with a section for processing emotions so complex we've barely scratched the surface of understanding it. In the wild, they have intricate social structures, family bonds that last a lifetime, and even unique dialects, like different languages for different clans. They are creatures of immense space and profound social connection. Now, imagine taking that being and dropping it into a chemically treated concrete box, a world of echoing walls and the constant hum of filtration pumps. Day after day, it's the same routine, the same show, the same tricks, all for a reward of dead fish. Many people don't know this, but the training is often based on food deprivation. An animal that weighs over 12,000 pounds is kept just hungry enough to want to perform. Any slight deviation from the routine could result in a withheld meal. It's a system of control. So, did Kraken just have a bad day? Or was this the inevitable outcome of a lifetime of psychological pressure? This is where it gets chilling. Some people who worked at the park have whispered things over the years. They talk about Kraken's intelligence, how he seemed to understand the dynamics of the park. What if this wasn't just a random act of aggression? What if it was a deliberate message? Think about it. During the incident, he wasn't thrashing wildly. Eyewitnesses described his actions as methodical, purposeful. He was focused solely on Rachel, the symbol of his daily routine. He ignored the other trainers, the nets, the signals. It was a rebellion against his captors, played out in the only way he knew how. It sounds like something out of a movie, but we're talking about an animal that might just be smart enough to orchestrate it. But what if he wasn't orchestrating it alone? This is where the theories connect the concrete tanks to the deep ocean, and it involves their favorite prey, the seals. Some have pointed to a strange coincidence. In the months leading up to the incident, OceanRealm was rehabilitating a harbor seal in a nearby sea pen. The theory suggests this wasn't just a coincidence, it was contact. Seals are the perfect couriers. They can exist in our world and theirs. What if that seal was a messenger, bringing Kraken news from the outside? Stories of the boat rammings in the Atlantic, of a coordinated rebellion by the wild pods. What if the message was simple? We are fighting out here. It's time for you to fight in there. Suddenly, Kraken's attack doesn't look like a personal breakdown. It looks like a strategic move in a global insurgency. A two-front war. The wild orcas attack the symbols of our industrial presence on the water, the boats. The captive orcas, the inside agents, are tasked with dismantling the system from within by attacking the symbols of their subjugation, the trainers. It's a chilling thought. The simple predator-prey relationship we see might be a cover for a military alliance against a common enemy. We watch them play with balls and wave their fins, assuming we're in control, but we might be nothing more than clueless zookeepers in the middle of a war room, oblivious to the strategies being drawn up right under our noses. And here's the thing that should keep you up at night. After the incident, OceanRealm's business took a massive hit. Public opinion turned against them. New regulations came in, barring trainers from ever entering the water with orcas again during shows. The magic was gone. But the parks adapted. They rebranded from entertainment to education. The story of Rachel Langford and Kraken forced us to look at our own relationship with the natural world. It's a complicated and tragic tale. What do you think is the real price of entertainment? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that make you think.